All right, welcome back to KFYR Plus. And many of us feel the daily effects of stress, whether it comes from financial issues you may have, personal relationships, parenting. But now you can also add email anxiety to that list. Dr. Vince Callahan is a mental health expert who has more than 3 decades of experience to help us better understand email anxiety. Welcome, Dr. Callahan.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You got it. Well, how would you define email anxiety, doctor? And what are some common reasons why Generation Z individuals are experiencing email anxiety?
Well, when you let your emails in your box build up to the thousands or tens of thousands, people feel like they have to get to that unanswered email because it's going to be so important, where most of them are advertisements anyway. But just not answering those emails at all creates that anxiety. And Gen Zers are really kind of known for perfectionism, if you will, and they already deal with depression and anxiety a lot. When
Hmm.
I teach my courses, my psychology classes, usually about three-quarters of my students have either depression or anxiety. And you ask them, do they also have unmet or unread emails? And they'll say, oh, yeah, I've got 10,000 of those or 3,000 of those, and I wish I could get to them, but I can't.
Well, that is quite a bit. And I have to admit, I do have a bit of an anxiety myself when it comes to email. Do you find that having it on our person constantly is, I guess, part of that problem as well?
I agree, yes, with that. And the truth is, we're addicted to screens anyway, no matter what it is we're looking at. I think I read recently where the average teenager gets 240 notifications a day, and they spend anywhere between 6 and 8 hours a day on a screen, and that's a notification about every minute. So we've gotten too much into living life with a screen versus just living life. And when you put that in the equation and you've got unanswered emails, now I'm staying up to 2 o'clock in the morning just answering emails to get that sense of okay when it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, that kind of led me into my next question. How does the prevalence of instant messaging and social media communication impact now Gen Z's perception and use of their email?
It's too much screen time. And we're going for the dopamine push is what happens in our brains. It's interesting, the same parts of the brain that are used when an addict does drugs are the same exact parts of the brain that are used when you're on a screen. So you are getting addicted to that screen no matter what it is. And then if you already, a lot of Gen Zers deal with low self-esteem. I know we gave them participation trophies and we try to, make them feel like they were part of everything. But the truth is, a lot of Gen Zers deal with low self-esteem. So if I've got low self-esteem and I'm not getting the messages and I'm not getting the pings and I'm not getting those things, or I don't have a lot of emails, now we've got a whole nother tool that's reinforcing a low self-esteem in these kids.
Hmm. Well, it sounds like we're kind of picking on Gen Z a bit, Doc, but it's a real problem in that age demographic, no doubt. But are there any differences in how Gen Z approaches email compared to Gen X or previous generations?
Well, when you get old enough, like me, because I'm old, when you get old enough, you realize it doesn't matter what's in that email. You can look through and scan and see if there's anything important and go through it pretty quick. But just because you have 10,000 unanswered emails, it's not the end of my life, and I'm not going to ruin everything just because I haven't answered emails. So you kind of have to grow through it and mature where you get to where it's like, you know what, this really is not that big a deal.
You mentioned that Gen Z does suffer a lot from depression and anxiety. It is Mental Health Awareness Month here in May. Does always being plugged in with today's smartphones and instant access to, as you say, emails, is that the big contributor to some of the anxiety that these youngsters are dealing with?
It is, and I also will throw in their parenting. It's one of those things where a lot of kids parent themselves these days because mom and dad are really busy, or they're both working, or they're both professionals, and all that kind of stuff. And then we've got kids that are given a tablet even at 6 months of age to a year of age,
Mhm.
and their electronic parenting is coming in. So that's been going on for a while. So you get hooked on the screen, and that begins to deal with socialization, developmental issues, problem solving skills. All those things you think would come because of the screen actually don't. It creates a deficit. So yeah, I'm going to hang that one on as part of the low self-esteem and depression and anxiety. We got to get back to having a real attached life to real people. We
Sure.
weren't made we weren't made to be alone. We were made to attach to people, not to a screen.
So, how about can you share any strategies or even tips for effectively managing this overload for not just Gen Zers, but really anybody else that might be suffering from anxiety associated with 10,000 unchecked emails in our inbox?
Well, I'm a big fan of get on my screen for a limited time and then come right off. I
Hmm.
don't need to be playing games. I don't have to check all my emails. It's better if you have a timed thing, if it's 15 to 30 minutes in the morning or it's an hour later in the day. Don't do it before you go to sleep because you won't go to sleep when you're on your screen. But basically, to just limit your time on that screen and get out and have a life. That's my simplest advice to anybody.
You know, you brought up something a little bit earlier saying that, what was the number that you give Gen Zers? How many messages do they get usually a day? 260 or something?
240 notifications per day.
Notifications. When I think about it, Doctor, is, you've got, let me just pull my phone out here, and you've got your phone with you, and you get these notifications, whether it be from Snapchat or just any ordinary thing each and every day, and you've got it sitting on your phone. It's exactly like an email notification, right? It's essentially what it
Right.
is. And you've got something
Yes.
there that says, hey, somebody's trying to contact you, or this is available to you. And people look at it, and I'm sure Gen Zs are just like me, and they're like, I got to clean that off my phone. Who is this? What is it? So I agree. I have that anxiety as well sometimes.
Right. And it's one of those things where, it's not that important. It's okay to actually turn your phone off. It's
Hmm.
okay if you go somewhere and leave your phone at home. It's okay to do those things because it's all right. I mean, you don't have to live by your phone. You don't have to be so attached to an electronic device.
Yeah, I agree with you, Dr. Callahan. Good stuff. Thank you for visiting with us this afternoon. Hopefully, we can get rid of this email anxiety some of us have. Me, not so much on the email. I'm good with that. I have it on my phone. I don't check my emails, especially if I'm out socializing. But what I do want to clear up are those apps that I get. I get a ping on it. I want to clear it up. I just want to have a free slate. And I think I might have something wrong up here, I guess, because of that. Dr. Callahan, thank you so much. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. 1238 here at the desk. Let's take a break. We're right back here with more next on KFYR Plus.